Hello, welcome back once again to Maths class. We are here again, as you know, to explain things to you, especially math and science, so that you get to understand them properly. Now, today we want to focus and also welcome all those who have come to Form 1. Welcome to Form 1. Now, we are going straight into this. We are going to look at a very simple and basic topic. Now, most people think this topic is so easy, but they always miss it. So today we are going to break it down for you to understand what it means to work with what? With integers. What it means to work with integers. It's very important because integers forms the backbone of math. If you want to understand math, if you want to deeply understand math, then you need to make your integers strong. Once your integers is strong, I tell you, you can be able to do math at any level, because the negative and the positive mostly disturb students. So we are here as first years, as freshers, also continuing students, those in Form 1 and Form 2 should also revisit this video and watch again so that they understand what integers are. Good. We'll not waste my time. We'll go straight into the integers. Now, when we talk of integers, it's basically a collection of what? Of positive and negative whole numbers. A collection of what? Of positive and negative whole numbers. When you take the first three letters here, the first three letters of the integers, you see we have this and that, right? So this I, when I turn it that way, stands for what? For negative. Obviously, this stands for what? For positive. So keep that. When we talk of integers, so negative and positive what? Whole numbers. So we are looking at negative and positive whole numbers, including zero. Whole numbers, including who? Zero. So with zero, let's put that with zero. So a collection of such numbers in math is referred to as what? Integers. So integers is basically a collection of positive. The I, if you turn it this way, you get what? Negative. Then this gives you positive whole numbers with what? With zero. So let's go. So we have this. Okay. Now, when we say a positive number, what is a positive number? What is a positive number? A number that always has the plus sign in front of it. If you, in a mathematical expression, in a mathematical writing, if you have a number, so this is 3, plus the sign here means that 3 is what? Positive. That means your plus sign in front of a number gives us what? Give the number, or tells that the number is what? Is positive. Listen, the sign in front of a number is very important. One thing you should know, I said earlier, that for you to be able to embark on your mathematical journey, one of the topics you need is integers. After this, you need algebraic expressions. Then you can be set. After you've added change of subject to it, and you are fine to go with what? With math. Now listen, so I'm saying that the positive number always has the plus sign in front of it. But when this number is beginning a mathematical sentence, normally we don't put the positive there. But if it's in between or at the end of a mathematical sentence, the positive sign must show to indicate. And always take note, the sign in front of a number in any mathematical expression belongs to that number. Good. So if I have -3, if I have 3 plus 4, since this positive is in front of the 4, then this is a positive number. So I hope you understand what I'm saying here. Good. So this is what we mean by positive number. So anytime you say mathematical expression, positive numbers will have the plus sign in front of them. So as negative numbers. Negative numbers will also have the sign in front of them. So if you have the minus sign in front of a number, -3, -3 means that 3 is negative. And a collection of these positives and negatives will give you what we call integers. It's a set of numbers. Good. So this is what? -3. In a mathematical expression like that as well, I can have 3 minus 2 plus 4. In 3 minus 2 plus 4, this 2 is a negative number. Why is it a negative number? because it has what? The negative or the minus sign in front of it. Okay, that's what I'm saying here. Very important. Now, this looks so basic. Most people ignore this. But I tell you, for you to deeply understand, these are the basics for you to be able to understand the integers. Take note. Take note of the basic things. Good. So the sign here means this is negative. Also, when it's at the end, like 4 plus 3 minus 2, this also means that because the minus sign is in front of 2, that means 2 is what? 2 is negative. I hope you understand that. So that is how we differentiate between what? Negative and what? And positive whole numbers. So take note. In any mathematical expression, I said the sign in front of a number. If you don't see any number and it's starting like 3, when you start, we don't put a plus here. But we know it is what? It is positive. The standard means it should be positive. Hope you get the point I'm making here. Good. But if it's a negative number and it is beginning, the negative 2 plus the negative must show. If you don't bring a negative, that means the number is what? It's positive. So take note. For negative, no matter where it is in a mathematical expression, the sign must be there. But for positives, the sign will only be there when it's what? When it's in between or at the end of an expression. But when it's beginning, you normally don't put it there. That's why if you have 3 plus 2, you know this will give you what? 5, because this number is a positive and it's beginning, so there's no plus sign. Okay, understand what I'm saying here? I hope you understand this. Very, very, very important. Good. Very, very important. Now, when we collect all the positive and negative numbers, we should note numbers with what? With the positive and negative sign in front of them are known as directed numbers. So numbers with what? With both the positive and the negative numbers with both positive and negatives are referred to or are called directed what? Numbers. The note to be on the net, www.mactclass.com. Then you go and what? You go and download it and look at the things there. So this is already in the note, the directed numbers. Numbers with what? With positive or negative signs. Or in fact, integers can also be referred to as well as directed what? Numbers. I hope you get the point I'm making here. Good. We'll not keep long. I'll divide this into 2 videos, then we are done. Now, let's look at the next thing here. Now that we can identify positive and negative numbers, let's say how to compare. So our next thing here is to compare and order integers. We are going to compare and do and order them. When we say comparison, then we are looking at which one is greater, which one is what? Is lesser. Good. So comparing and ordering of integers. Comparing and ordering of integers. Now, in comparing and ordering integers, one of the basic things you have to know is that positive numbers with the positive sign in front of them, are always greater in any situation, are always greater than negative numbers. Positive numbers are always what? Greater than negative what? Numbers. Now, if you have a group of negative numbers, take note of these basic things. If you have a group of negative numbers, so always when you are comparing, we say positive is always what? Greater. So positive numbers. Let me say positive numbers. Positive numbers are always the greatest. Are always the greatest in any comparison. You get the point I'm making? So if you are comparing only positive numbers, the greater value is the greater one, right? But when it comes to negative numbers, for negative numbers, the comparison becomes a little bit different. Take note that if we are comparing positive 4 and positive 3, the higher your value, that is the greater you are for positive. It's normal. But for negative, it changes. For negative numbers, when you are comparing between or among negative numbers, the negative with the smaller value The negative, I'm repeating it, the negative with the smaller value, as in -3 comparing itself to -12. They both have a negative sign, but this one has a smaller value, 3, and this one has a value of what? 12. This guy is the greatest. So take note. For comparison between negatives, then the negative with the smallest value is always what? The greatest what? The greatest among them. We'll look at that and you know how to order. So when you are ordering, -3 is greater than negative what? -12. When we are comparing this, I'll put the sign greater than. That means that my -3 is greater. How do I know -3? Don't get confused. People think, or some will think that, oh, because 12 is bigger than 3. No. In the negatives, the smaller, listen, the smaller your value, that means you are what? You are greater. I hope you get the point I'm making here. So that is how to compare. That's how to know which one is what is greater and which one is less when it comes to positive and negative numbers, or comparing negative and also ordering the numbers. Now let's take this example and see how to order this number. How to order this. So we have -4, we have 3, we have 0, we have 8, I have -10, and I have 1. I want to order this in both ascending and descending order. When we say ascending, that means we start from the smallest to the what? To the highest. The smallest to the what? That's ascending. But for descending, we descend. So you take note of that. So I'm going to do this arrangement using my less than and greater than to show. So I'm first of all arranging in the what? In the ascending order. So from the smallest. Good. So among these, the smallest one is what? Is, we see positives, we see negatives. When we are comparing, always the negatives are the smallest. Always. The negatives are the smallest. Now, among the negatives, or between the negatives, the one with the greater value is the smallest. So -10 will be less than, it's smaller than -4. Why is that so? Because its value is bigger. Take note of that in negatives. Good. Then we come to this, which is less than 0, and 0 is greater than all negative numbers. 0 is greater than all negative numbers. Keep note. Then this is also less than 1. 1 is less than 3, and 3 is less than what? Than 8. I hope you get the point I'm making. So I have arranged this in ascending order of magnitude. I've arranged it in ascending order. That means it's starting from the smallest to the what? To the highest. I hope you understand what I'm saying here. That is what we mean by what? Ascending order. But in the descending order, from the highest to the smallest, we'll say 8 is greater than 3, which is also greater than 1, greater than 0, greater than -4, and greater than -10. If you're reading from this angle, you can say it's the same thing, -10 less than in that order. So this is what? This is the descending order of magnitude. Take note of that. So anytime you're asked to compare numbers, note that positive numbers are always greater. Among the negatives, the most greatest one is the one with the smallest one, the smallest value. Take note of that. Very, very well. Very, very, very important for you to know. So that is about ordering. When we are comparing, I'll give you an example. When I have -44 and -22, and I'm comparing this using my less than or greater than. Yes, both of them are negative. Therefore, I will choose which one. I'll choose which one. The one with the highest value. Listen carefully. The one with the highest value. So this gives me, this one is what? It's less than that. Take note of this. I hope you are following what I'm saying here. So basically, that is how we compare. If you get a note, the examples there, you compare them in ascending order, then you give us the results in the comment section. You can tell us your results. Okay, now let's go to one last thing here, then we end. The next time we come, we continue from what? From how to multiply and divide into. So right now we are going to do the arithmetic. So we are going to look at addition and subtraction of what? Of integers. Then we end here. Then we come and look at the multiplication and division and some applications where most people don't get the applications of what? Of integers. So let's look at addition and subtraction of what? Of integers. A very simple but powerful mathematical understanding. A very simple one. Most people think they get it, but I'm going to show you something here for you to understand it really. Let's go. So we are looking at addition addition and subtraction, addition and subtraction of integers, addition and subtraction of integers. Now, one of the best ways I have seen that works with integers when it comes to addition and subtraction is for you to understand, I've already said it, that one of the basics is for you to know that in any expression, the sign in front of the number is very important. It belongs to this guy. It's very important for you to know that. When the sign is negative, one way by which you can understand is to know that negative means that you owe someone. That is not yours, you owe. But for the positive, you have it. Once you know you're able to connect these things, you are done with it, you know how to do it. So once you're able to connect them, that anytime I see the sign here is -3, -3 means that I, who is doing the math, I owe 3. But the guy, +4, also means that me, that same person, I have what? I have 4. So take note of that. So that if I have 4 and I owe 3, once you owe, you are supposed to what? To pay. If I'm going to pay, that means we have -3. I can pay and I'll still have some left. I hope you understand what I'm saying. I hope you get it. Okay. So let's go. So this is what I'm saying. That when it comes to addition and subtraction, just understand that the positive means I have and the negative means what? I owe. And anytime you owe, you have to do what? You have to pay. I hope you get the point I'm making here. Very easy. So if I have -16 plus -8 plus 16, -8 plus 16. If we read this properly, this means that the sign in front, if you note, because the negative one is starting, I brought a sign and the negative sign there. The sign in front of 8 is negative and the sign in front of 16 is positive. This means that you owe 8 and you have what? You have 16. You get the point I'm making here. This means you owe what? You owe 8 and you have what? 16. So if you pay, you'll be left with what? With 8. So I owe you 8, but I have 16 in my office. So when I pay you, I'm left with what? I'm left with 8. I hope you understand what I'm saying here. Very, 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 very important. Now, I have -8, -3. This is one of my best questions. I owe 3 because negative, the sign in front of it is negative. So I owe 8. Then here I also owe what? 3. So I owe 8. I won't think of how to pay. I have borrowed another 3. So in all, I'm owing 11. Understand this for me. I said here I owe 8, but I also owe what? 3. So in all, generally, I owe -11. Most people confuse themselves. They think this is positive. They will multiply. No, when it's multiplication, I'll show you what to do. So take note. When it's multiplication, there's a way we write it for you to understand that is what multiplication. But this means what? We are just subtracting. I hope you get the point I'm making here. Good. So now I have 7 minus 9. Very, very basic. 7 minus 9. Here we are looking at basic math. That's the beginning of what? Of math. 7 minus 9. There's no sign here. That means I have what? I have 7. But here is what? It's -9. So therefore, that means I'm owing. Then what do? I am going to pay my 7 and I'll still be owing because I was not able to complete the 9. And now I'm owing what? I'm owing 2. Very important. I'm owing what? 2. Because I owe 9 and I've been able to pay just 7 out of it. So I still owe them what? 2. Good. Then I have 16 plus 8. Very basic. It's very, very basic. This time I have 16 and I have another 8. And that gives me what? 24. 24. Very important. I hope you understand what I'm saying here. Yeah. So this is very, very, very what? Basic. Now let's look at this now. Now I have 3 plus 4 minus 8 minus 2. I have this. 3 plus 4 minus, what does this mean? This means that I have 3, I have another 4, but I owe 8. So when you understand the question like that, you'll be able to solve it. But I owe 8 and I also owe what? 2. So therefore, me having 3 and having 7 means having 4 means I have what? 7. But I owe 8. At the same time, I owe it. So in general, I owe what? 10. Now, if I have this, I have 7, but I owe 10. When I pay, I'm left with what? Negative what? 3. I'm left with 3 more to do what? 2 pay. I hope you get the point I'm making here. Very, very, very well. Very, very, very important for you to understand that. Very, very important. These are very basic math, but very, very important for you to know. So when it comes to addition and subtraction, once again, let me repeat this for the last time, then I end this. Once again, you have to understand that the sign in front of the number belongs to the number. These are the basics. The sign in front of the number is for the number. When the sign is negative, then it means that just understand that you owe. You get the point I'm making here. Good. But when the sign is positive, it means that you have. And anytime you owe, you're supposed to what? You're supposed to pay. You get the point I'm making here. Good. So once you understand that and you're able to read the expression like I read here, how do I read this? There's no sign that's positive. So I have 3. I also have 1. I also have 4. This I owe 8. That I owe 2. Okay. What do I have in January? I have 7. What do I owe in January? I owe 8. When I settle my debt, I'm left with what? 3 to settle, which I'll settle later. You need to settle all your debts. I hope you understand what I'm saying here. Very important, very basic. So this is where we are going to end the first session of our integers. Sit back, understand it. So when we bring the next one, you get it. Once you get this, I bet you, and add some small things to it, your math is going to be very, very sharp. So thank you very much for joining our section. We'll bring you more. And remind your friends to also subscribe. Thank you.